My name is Alan King. I'm manager of the National Road Zane Grey Museum, a site of the Ohio Historical Society. It's my pleasure to introduce you this evening to the history and the romance of the National Road. The National Road was officially called the Cumberland Road because it began in Cumberland, Maryland, and was nicknamed the National Road because it is the only road in our history to be built entirely by the federal government and funded entirely by the federal government. Construction of the road didn't actually begin until 1811. The road reached Wheeling, Virginia in 1818. It took them 7 years to build the road across that part of the country. And you can see on the map that there was a little bit of a deviation up through Washington, Pennsylvania. That was because political influences at the time convinced President Jefferson that he could not carry western Pennsylvania in the next presidential election unless the route of the National Road ran through those towns in southwestern Pennsylvania. Here at the National Road Zane Grey Museum, we tell the story of the National Road through the use of a diorama. Done in miniature, it's 136 feet long and tells the story of the National Road, its building and use from Cumberland, Maryland in 1811 to Vandalia, Illinois in about 1920. The right-of-way was to be 66 feet wide, and that included drainage ditches, sloped shoulders, and a paved road bed. No grade could be greater than 5%, and that was a difficult task to achieve running through the Allegheny Mountains. The National Road was well known for its beautiful stone bridges. Many people called it America's Appian Way, and here we depict the stone bridge that at one time crossed Wills Creek near Cumberland, Maryland. That bridge no longer exists today, but it was torn down in the 1930s not because of weakness or poor construction, but because it simply did not meet the demands of modern-day automobile traffic. And one of the most common vehicles on the road was the Conestoga wagon. One of the most important artifacts that we have here, and one of the rarest, is this Conestoga freight wagon, dating from about 1800. The Conestoga wagon design originated in Pennsylvania. The design is for use in mountainous terrain. The wagon was built with a curved bed, so that as it went up and down mountainsides, the goods inside, there would be less of a tendency for the goods to slide out one end or the other. By about 1830, the federal government turned the road over to the states. So what had been a federal freeway then became a state-owned tollway. And from that time on, the National Road was referred to as the National Pike. And at that point, they started construction of toll houses that would collect the money from the users of the road. At Wheeling, many of the Conestoga wagons would stop, and their goods would be loaded then onto flatboats and keelboats that would float down the Ohio and Mississippi rivers to major markets like Cincinnati, Louisville, Memphis, and New Orleans. In eastern Ohio, one of the most unusual features of the road are the S bridges. There were more of these bridges in Belmont, Guernsey, and Muskingum counties of Ohio than on any other section of the road. Another unusual bridge on the National Road in Ohio appears at Zanesville. A bridge in the shape of a Y was constructed to cross two rivers that met at that point. Eventually, by the 1920s, the National Road would be incorporated in a coast-to-coast highway that started in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and ran to San Francisco, California. And that highway was given the designation U.S. Route 40. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide through the National Road Zane Grey Museum. We encourage you to stop by and visit us the next time you're in the area.